and site map so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. The Avalon Australia International Airshow is brought to you by the Royal Australian Air Force,
the State of Victoria,
the City of Greater Geelong,
and AMDA.
Special thanks to our major sponsors: Boeing,
Jet Aviation Australia,
Lockheed Martin Australia,
Martin Baker Australia,
and Northrop Grumman.
There's no show like the air show.
Welcome to the Avalon Australia International Airshow. Be sure to download the Avalon app, which has the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. Special thanks to our major sponsors: Boeing,
Jet Aviation Australia,
Lockheed Martin Australia,
Martin Baker Australia,
and Northrop Grumman. Welcome to the Avalon Australia International Airshow. We acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wadawurrung people who are part of the Kulin Nation. Be sure to download the Avalon app, which has the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. The Avalon Australia International Airshow is brought to you by the Royal Australian Air Force,
the State of Victoria,
the City of Greater Geelong,
and AMDA.
Special thanks to our major sponsors: Boeing,
Jet Aviation Australia,
Lockheed Martin, which has the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. Special thanks to our major sponsors: Boeing,
Jet Aviation Australia,
Lockheed Martin Australia,
Martin Baker Australia,
and Northrop Grumman. Don't miss today's flying displays. Find out more via the Avalon app.
There's no show like the air show.
Welcome to the Avalon Australia International Airshow. Be sure to download the Avalon app, which has the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. Special thanks to the Royal Australian Air Force,
the State of Victoria,
the City of Greater Geelong,
and AMDA.
Special thanks to our major sponsors: Boeing,
Jet Aviation Australia,
Lockheed Martin Australia. Traditional owners of this land, the Wadawurrung people who are part of the Kulin Nation. Be sure to download the Avalon app, which has the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon on the App Store. The Avalon Australia International Airshow is brought to you by the Royal Australian Air Force, the State of
That was Aviate out of left hand from Adelaide Williams. What a superb job they did. And if you're there, please give them a round of applause. It is a long way to the shop for a sausage roll. We know it's a long way to Avalon for flying. But the good news, Angela, is...
It might have been a long way to the top, but we've got it coming up. We can definitely tell you the show is going to kick off with a bang at 1:15. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is going to kick off with a bang at 1:15. What can we expect, Tony?
We can expect the enormous wall of fire, just a feast of pyrotechnics, sight and sound. It will dazzle the eyes and shake your ears. It is the wall of fire, some of the finest pyrotechnics you'll ever see. It is a huge spectacle, so we do warn you, if you've got kids, they need hearing protection, it's a good idea. And just so you know, that's coming up at 1:15, followed by the flying display. And we have an F-35 that is going to taxi down to the bottom end of the runway to hold. That will be coming from your right, so give the pilot a wave. And to open the batting, this is very, very exciting. The friends from the Pacific Air Force of the United States Air Force will be taking up a Viper, one of the slickest aircraft, fighter aircraft ever made, celebrating its 50th year since its first flight. And that is going to put on a truly eye-watering display of just brilliant flying, Angela.
Yeah, 50.
Yes, and we see the aircraft that is replacing the F-16 in a lot of air forces about the taxi passes. That is the fifth generation fighter, the F-35 F-16, decided the fourth generation.
Indeed. Make sure you give that F-35 pilot a bit of a wave as you go past, because he will be putting on a display for you like no other. And
we'll go to an ad break now, and we'll be back shortly at the for the 2025 Avalon Airshow shortly.
Industries in Alenia, USA. KOR, exclusive Schwartz dealership for Australia and New Zealand. I believe there's some action down the end of the runway, regardless.
I can see the unique outline of the Lockheed Martin F-16 just taxiing to a holding point, and we'll get onto the active, it will take off, there will be sight, there will be sound, and we will put on a blistering display for us, courtesy of the Pacific Air Forces of the United States Air Force. This aircraft based in Misawa, Japan, with a celebratory tail art that you might want to take a photo of. Okay, this is going to be a brilliant piece of set-piece flying jet aerobatics like no one else. And what we've been waiting for, take it away, Master Sergeant.
The ability to turn entirely is crucial. Watch now as Captain Smith shows how exceptional the F-16 is. Ladies and gentlemen, from your right. Repositioning and slowing the F-16 down in preparation for a slow speed pass. While the Viper can fly lower than twice the speed of sound, slow speed control is just as important. As Captain Smith passes show center, he will fly forward afterburner and accelerate the aircraft into a near vertical climb. Ladies and gentlemen, from your right, the High Alpha. Ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras ready as Captain Smith prepares to demonstrate the combination of the F-16's exceptional thrust and flight control system that make the knife edge maneuver possible. From your right, the F-16 Falcon and the knife edge. Flying around the world who have lost their lives while defending freedom. Captain Smith is now repositioning for his final maneuver today, a tactical pitch-up. You'll see him enter from show center right and go out through the middle.
So let the horns do the they do, y'all.
That blended with fuselage and wing, just a classic bit of design from General Dynamics.
Absolutely, and that echo is not anything untoward, it is.
No.
Simply condensation that's created by the speed and the angle of attack.
Exactly, it's the low pressure air over the wing, condensing the moisture in the air and giving us that spectacular effect.
Photographer's dream.
Speaking of, we're going to reduce a bit of that on the so busy that there's minimal time to actually look at and enjoy the thing. Airshow flying is pretty intense. Takes a lot of concentration. And we practice to a level where the sequence just happens without even thinking about it. That comes down to all the training in the simulator and practicing out in the airspace before you look at the crowd, because now you start performing in front of a heap of people. There's all that added extra pressure on there as well. We've got the gear down now, so gear is probably going to come down and get close to the ground. The gear down, he's probably going to give a little wave to the crowd, say hello to all the young boys and girls there.
So if you can wave back, please do so. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. Got to be a smile on his face as well. I'm sort of wondering, is this expected? He's actually landing.
He's just done a bit of a wheelie down in front of the crowd there.
So just tell us a little bit more about the jet while we've got a couple of minutes to wonder what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, so the engine, 38,000 pounds of thrust. Crazy powerful compared to anything else I've flown. We carry a mix of air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons as well. And
Another fascinating thing about it is the helmet. So we don't have a head-up display. Everything's displayed on the inside of our visor. Which is pretty impressive. We've got cameras around the jet. That makes it big.
Yes, we are. We are going to get a Mustang and Spitfire, which will take off and then they will hold. So you are going to hear the wonderful, unmistakable sound of Merlin.
Show. R44 Robinson helicopter up there. Let's hope they got some really great footage. Whilst the action's just happening everywhere. They're still stomping out into fire over here to the left. We've got the Jetstar flight coming in on the right. We've got Greg Hinsey coming in to the commentary box. We've got Jetstar coming, and I'm going to be...
This is a Spitfire. It's such a small cockpit. I was up there having a look at the last weekend at Point Cook, and I'll tell you what, it seems like everything's right there. You can, less than, people to do. Yeah, they're fairly big for long to fight cockpit. It's not too bad flying around the airways, but the castle, the cockpit thing around, things like taking it's like because of the shoulders, so that's really sort of strategic. In fact, really, he's in that sort of position, but probably trying to move around and things like that. And if you drop anything, there's no floor, so it just goes and go and make cables and things. So you got everything high up, so you don't drop everything in the bucket. But no, it's pushing and stuff in it.
And that feeling you had the first time you took the Spitfire for flight?
Amazing. Just joining a club of very elite number of pilots around the world that have flown it. Most pilots would have loved, they would like to fly the airplane. I've been flying now for over 20 years, and that sense of importance and responsibility still hasn't left me. And each time I look at the airplane, I realise how lucky I am to fly with it. It's not too bad. It's probably not your most conventional car drag in the fact that as those Spitfires still over in the world, the bigger and bigger engines in the airplane never really caught up. So the undercarriage geometry is the same as the early Mark 1 Spitfires, but we've got the bigger engines in it now, so to absorb that power, they have to put bigger propellers on. So now these models of Spitfires have a top clearance, propeller clearance issue for takeoff and landing. So unlike a, say, conventional tail drag where you take off to the nose level, we take off tail low and set the airplane get airborne when it's ready. And same for landing, we always try to be pointed on, or certainly tail low wheel, we don't try to wheel it on, so we will hit the top. So the Spitfire except the Japanese Zero could. So even right up towards the end of the war, even though the Zero was outclassed by 4 C's and Hellcats, you still couldn't turn to the Zero. If you did and got slow and you went into there where the envelope was good, the outcome may not be what you were expecting. And the Spitfire's the same. Not a very good high-speed dogfighter. The control's quite heavy. You've got to remember it was developed in the first fleet in 1936 when just at the end of the biplane era, and it's still sort of learning, whereas the Mustang being a much more refined aeroplane, first flew in 1941, it's, its controls are quite effective at all speeds, it's interesting flying the two different types. So, the Spitfire.
Just before we get back to you, Neil, there is some heavy metal, some fast jets lining up on the right-hand side, and the Spitfire and Mustang are coming in for the right on the outside of
the served in Royal Air Force during the Second World War in the Battle of Dunkirk. it's a bit like loading on a cork in a bathtub with us bouncing around. So, yeah, so it'll be hard for the jets. F-35 coming in from the left.
That's what you would be doing on high. Correct. Me and basically a team of individuals down the back of the...
Okay, on your right, let's sorry to interrupt, Neil. If you look to your right, a camera opportunity here. We have the Mustang, the Spitfire, the Super Hornet, and the F-35 in formation together.
Constant spacing and trying to make it as smooth for the jets as I could.
If you've got a camera, what should you be ready for?
Oh, you should be ready for the two jets are going to break off shortly, and then the two pistons are going to come in for a break very close to the crowd.
So who is actually leading and talking on
the
this?
Mustang. There we go. The guys then are full. They go to max afterburner. And then these
with not only the F-35 Lightning and the Super Hornet, but also more of the surveillance and response type aircraft from the P8 Poseidon, then the naval asset with the Mk.VIII Seahawk helicopter. Also we've got the MRTT tanker from 33 Squadron, and a Spartan, a Hercules, and a Globemaster to show the strategic and tactical, I could almost get that out, airlift and cargo type aircraft that we have in the Defence Force.
We also can't forget we're going to see some of our security forces in action too on the ground. So you need to be the trenches there. Heritage aircraft from 100 Squadron coming for a landing.
So you can just see the differences there. The Mustang is landing on the wheels, called a wheeler landing, main wheels, and letting the tail down gently now. Whereas the Spitfire, you'll see Scotty will come in and he'll essentially do a tail low wheeler, if not a three-pointer in the Spitfire, because of the prop clearance issues I was talking about earlier. Here he's now holding off. There we are. Essentially a three-point landing for the Spitfire.
We have a Poseidon coming in from the right.
Qualified flying instructor who joined in 2004, and the co-pilot is Flight Lieutenant Thomas Black, who's 11th Squadron training captain. Sitting aloft at around about 5,000 feet, well off the coast, and it will be coordinating all the other assets in the search, all the way from the P8 to various other countries' search.
Seahawk there. Giving a bit of demonstration of some of its manoeuvrability and capability. And I'll tell you what, these are absolutely amazing aircraft. Submarine hunters, great for search and rescue as well. And we've seen them operating alongside the P8 Poseidon and everything from rescues. There was only one recently that the Navy and the Air Force participated in off Wednesday.
aircrafts from the USA, basically made by Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin, with 24 currently in service and another 12 expected to be in service by the end of the year.
We have the P8 coming around again from the right.
So ordinarily you would see the P8 Poseidon not necessarily over land, obviously, because they're a maritime operated aircraft. So often that you'll see them as low as 100 feet flying along the coastline around Australia to keep that surveillance around the Australian borders.
Notice there that the runway doors are open on the P8 as it flies past the helicopter. P8 is basically a 737-800 fuselage strengthened landing gear. 14 of these aircraft, based at number 11 and 292 Squadron to RAAF, part of the Air Base in Edinburgh. Mounted Lieutenant Michael Steve, a very experienced seaborne pilot. He's been flying these for over 10 years and did his training in Florida.
I have to ask you, because Dean was in the commentary booth yesterday, one day you guys have beards. Why is that? Yeah, not really clean shaven, as is next gift and the people on the pilot.
That's not necessarily true. It is allowed now to have a beard. You'll see today, Woody and Lanes, our display pilots for the Super, both of them have beards.
Okay, that's not correct.
And a couple of the roulets as well.
This is an amazing bit of flying.
Yeah, so he's really using the hand speed with the galactic, the stick and the pedals to do that rotation of 720 degrees turn. And we mentioned yesterday, you notice on one side of the helicopter sort of what looks like holes, basically, as you can see them right now. Those are for defensive sanctuaries.
It goes into the water and it emits a signal, it bounces up the submarine, it gives away the position.
One ping, Vasily.
It's the machine that goes beaming.
This is a great example of how our different services, Army and Navy Air Force, all work very closely together, operating inside the battle space. You'll see the Romeo coming in to the right there now, back into the hole. Once again, this one here, a firm, yeah.
I love the way he says a firm. Not yes, we don't get yes out of these guys. So what's it like refueling off a tanker?
It's quite tricky, but when the conditions are nice and smooth, unlike today, it would be relatively easy for the guys, but when it gets a little bit bumpy, a little bit turbulent, it is very, very tricky, especially as you can see on the left and right behind the windmill, there will be a hose.
The larger Chinook, etc., to the larger Air Force aircraft like the Charlie 130 and the C-17.
And you're going to see a fairly short landing here, and these aircraft can land on unprepared strips, as well as an airfield like here at the Australian International Airshow.
And that aircraft you've been in, Hixie, is coming in from the right.
Actually, you know, I've never been in.
You've never been in a Herc?
I've never been in a C-130J Hercules.
On the other hand, I have.
So we're going to see it pitch out into circuit and come in do a landing as the C-27J Spartan.
Capable, so they are available at a moment's notice to secure a huge airfield, just the 6 of them, and they'll give you a bit of a wave. But they're in that defensive posture now, whilst the Charlie 130
and you can't look, very, very handsome machine, it must be said.
So you see the C-130J Hercules off in the distance, and it will be pitching into land, and that will have another group of security forces on board, this time from RAAF Base Amberley with the number 2 Security Forces Squadron, with some more overwatch here from our F-35A landing turrets. So what situation is that?
That's a great question. So quite often we work with JTAC, so ground terminal attack controller would be the primary means and the primary person talking to the aircraft. So they'd be talking to the F-35s, they'd be talking to the Super Hornets, they'd be talking to the Growlers as well. But primarily for us and the Super Hornet, it's going to be our weapons systems officer in the backseat being that primary person to talk to the JTAC, get all the information, get the battle space awareness and situation and what's currently happening. More importantly, where our friendly forces are located. It can be quite a complex environment, so that most
we'll see number 2 Security Forces Squadron based out of RAAF Base Hambley. They're going to run out of the back of the Hercules when it lands and drops the rear ramp. And they're going to be providing the assaulting force by a rapid air landing to secure the foothold on Avalon Airport right here. So it's going to protect the runway for a larger following on force to secure the airfield. So today they're going to be using a small dismounted force, but the squadron will normally operate using larger formations with its protected mobility vehicles, smaller, faster, specialist tactical vehicles, which you can see them often drive out the back of the aircraft, which are required to make the squadron's unique grounding.
Still overhead on the combat air control, and the Hercules will very shortly put the gas on, basically, and
I never thought I was smart enough. I always wanted to do it, but I never thought I would actually make it there. So it wasn't until year 12 that I actually sat down and had a good think about what I wanted to do with my life, and I realised that, hey, I can do this if I graduate high school, and I just apply myself would be my biggest point.
And what was your inspiration?
Honestly, it was flying Riverfire. Watching the pilots fly Riverfire in Brisbane. So Brizzy Boy, and then seeing the Super Hornet, it was just phenomenal.
And last year, you got the amazing opportunity to fly that.
Fought in response to the Boxing Day tsunami when there was a shortfall of strategic cargo in the water.
Simulated straight pass with some flares popping out, and
I think I've got them.
What a great camera opportunity.
we do have that capability, but yeah, there's multiple different ways we can do it. But yeah, so if you look to your right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have the F-35s coming in low and fast.
And remember, letting those, so just...
And right after them is the F-18F Super Hornets coming through.
So we've got Glib and Bam Bam closer to the crowd, and then we've got Freddie and Winnie further away. So
splendid performance. Tony, what do you reckon?
It's just extraordinary to see this, and Avalon's the only place you'll see that kind of collection of frontline Air Force assets doing their thing and showing us how they earn their keep. It's absolutely wonderful.
And here is an application form, by the way. Just sign there.
For a retirement home, I think that would be. I'm probably missed my chance. But ADF recruitment is a great place to go. And Clutch, it's a common theme, air shows like this do, they just spark that idea in people that military aviation could be for them.
Seeing them on the news, but actually get to see an F-35 that's just touched down. Just to get to see that in person, to go up and actually get to talk to the aircrew, talk to the maintainers, is just, you don't get that anywhere else. So I'd advise everyone here to go to the state of the shows, meet and greet our people, and take it off.
And Clutch, you're going to be there at the F-18 Super Honey very shortly?
I'll be floating around, yeah, so please feel free to come up and say good day. We've got a few giveaways with pins and things like that, so feel free to come on.
Get a photo and an autograph.
Just to put this into perspective, you are married, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to put that there, because you're a good-looking guy.
Tim said
you know how to embarrass people, don't you, there?
Oh, he's going to leave now. 10% off all merch, of course, for one slipping.
Yeah, I'd also argue I'm going to the best match stand as well. We'll see.
Okay, so that is Glib and Bam Bam in the first of the Super Hornets, and followed by a special person for me, Freddie.
Why is that, Neil? Why is Freddie special to you?
I'm not saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, we will see you again in the commentary booth, because we're not done with RAAF aircraft flying over Avalon for 2025. Something far more sedate than Clutch's F-18 is about to take to the sky. That being a Beech 18, but we've got a Jetstar that will precede it. So an A320. No, the Beech 18. The Beech 18 is the Jetstar. Just it is definitely a case of, well, age before beauty. Although many would argue that the Beech 18. Joining us now to talk us through the Beech 18, Qantas pilot and Air Force reservist, we're just known as Archie. The Beech 18 is owned by the US military in light transport, reconnaissance type roles. And then it was used also as an airliner, so and luxury transport, executive transport. Angela Stevenson is back in the commentary booth now. Angela.
Indeed, and that is an absolute glorious bit of footage there of the Beech 18. It's a really extraordinary and fairly iconic aircraft. Archie, tell us a little bit about your story with it.
My story with the Beech is I've been quite lucky to act as a safety pilot in a couple of these displays for Doug Hamilton, who I believe is flying the aircraft now, and he's accompanied by Mk.VIII. So Mick and Doug are both current 100 Squadron pilots, but this particular aircraft is Doug's, which is located Doug owns a Lockheed 12 that he flew, beautiful airplane, and then the Beech 18 came back to him. Doug said in an interview with Michael Beech that it was Beechcraft harmonised their aircraft beautifully. From a pilot point of view, can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, I've flown it a little bit. I've been lucky to do a couple of circuits in it. It is harmonised. The controls are beautiful. Particularly in roll control, it's quite responsive. And as you'll see with some of these manoeuvres here, and Doug will sort of perform some quite loopy type wingovers here in a minute, but it's an absolutely gorgeous aeroplane to fly and travel.
And in World War II, what was it used for? What were some of the different types of missions?
Yeah, so we talked about light transport and reconnaissance, but there are a lot of navigators and bombardiers trained using the Beech military designation. Beech 18. At the end of the war, the Germans were on the front at the end of the war. So radio controlled flying bomb precision attacks as well. And I think it's an American problem from 1926. Just to pay your attention, it hasn't been already. Beautiful farm home that
Doug was saying the maneuverability of the aircraft.
yeah, beautiful home flying.
I think he's still having fun. You can tell.
You wouldn't swing a couple of singing lines. Oh, no, that's the big one. The door of the race, and then roughly the filling stuff a more serious business by now. People would prefer to pay good money to fly by jets. Football class was developed out of the Beech called Squadron. It's a colour of 11 hours beautiful airplane. There's a couple of things you can do it first. Over 9,000 of these aircraft that have around 30 years since the last flight by the 30, so it's immensely successful. Produced in a nose wheel and tail wheel version. Yeah, that's correct. That's very rare. Although Shackleton is in that club, but the Beech 18. It is, yeah, and a lot of people like taking that nose wheel version and converting it into a classic tail wheel aircraft. Why did they do that? Oh, I don't know whether it's the heritage, whether it's the challenge. There's nothing more beautiful than that.
Interesting aircraft.
He does. Along with his manufacturing and restoration business, Precision Aeromotive, he also operates classic air adventures out of Wangaratta, and if people want to go and visit Doug, they're able to get rides in a P-51. He's
Avalon. I've got Mark Pilkington here, who knows more about historical aviation aircraft because he owns a couple. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Michael. How are you? And it's a wonderful day today out here at Avalon Airshow.
Sure is. You're the former Secretary President of the Australian Historical Aviation
Society, the former secretary. I won't steal the president's role.
So you know what you're talking about. And behind us here is this is one of your aircraft artifacts.
That's right. And this is a near 100
getting aloft there.
And I've just had a little bit of intel too from our Royal Australian Air Force people that there are some people just doing a bit of smoking and a bit of vaping near the aircraft. Can we please remind absolutely everybody not to do that? No smoking or vaping near the aircraft. Back to you, Hingsy.
Eggsy, we look to the north and see that modified 737 airframe, now known as the P8 Poseidon. Okay, with the P8 Poseidon coming through, it should be coming through from the right. You can actually see the lights coming on. This is where I hand over to Coots, who flies these wonderful aircraft. Now, they are a modified 737 and provide overwatch. We've seen some of the amazing stuff that they've been doing during the ADF showcase here today as it comes through quite low. And I'll hand over now to Squadron leader Neil Whitehead, who will lead us through this display.
Just as we get ourselves rearranged here in the commentary booth, relax, settle back. We're in for a bit of interesting commentary here. And welcome back, Neil Whitehead. Neil Whitehead, are you Commodore yet?
Not quite, no, but I think as the day goes on, we'll never know. So here we are, we've got the P8A Poseidon, and tell us all about the P8.
Yep, so the P8 Poseidon, it's a maritime patrol aircraft. Its main role is anti-submarine warfare and maritime strikes, but it can also do intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions. It's based on a 737 and it's got about 83% commonality with that airplane.
Is the line Boeing up in Seattle? Is that right, or they specifically?
So actually, the P8 has its own production line.
Yeah, right.
So it's not a repurposed airframe, as is the E7 or the BBJ. This is on its own production line.
They've been employed around the world over the last few years to replace the P3 and from the UK the Nimrod. So how much of a difference is there? Because they're jet engines as opposed to turboprops?
That's correct. So performance-wise, a lot. Especially the air capability that we have. So we can tank with the KC-30, extend our range up to 20 hours with augmented crew as well. In terms of emission processing power, it's very new, so it's very efficient, and it's a marked advancement over the P3.
And the whole purpose of this aircraft, realistically, what is it all about?
Yeah, like I said before, anti-submarine warfare and maritime patrol. So we have a few mission types, being anti-submarine warfare, maritime strike, so it's targeting surface ships, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and then we also have the capability to do search and air rescue.
The P3 Orion, which you replaced, used to have a big boom at the back that would hunt for submarines. This aircraft doesn't have that, but it's still got the ability to find some. How do you do it these days?
Yep, so we don't have the MAD boom anymore, which is the magnetic anomaly detector. This aircraft was originally purposed as a high-altitude ASW platform, and we hunt the submarines with what's called a sonar, which is pretty much a microphone that sits in the water. And that's how we listen to the submarine. We can track it and eventually find it.
You've got internal weapon bay as well as hardpoint. So what sort of mix of things can you carry?
Yeah, it's great. So within the weapon bay, we've got another pass. Before they came through, simulated dropping sonar buoys, and then with the weapon bay open for a simulated attack.
You wouldn't normally expect to see a 737-sized aircraft like this at that altitude or as low as you get over the water, would you?
No, that's correct. So it's quite unusual to see this aircraft this low, but with the P8 we operate down to 200 feet and routinely do so. So over water, on station, we can get down to 200 feet and we'll routinely be there.
And is that okay when the weather is bad as well, or?
We can do it day or night, IMC or VMC. We use the radar to clear ahead. We can then find any of those contacts, turn them into tracks, pass it through to the front, and we can share that information from the back end to the front, and we can operate down at 200 feet IMC.
Just how far can you operate from your base?
P8 has it's quite a long range. It can travel pretty fast. So we can travel about 2,000 nautical miles, get about 4 hours on station, and then travel home. If you want to travel in a straight line, it's about 7,000 kilometres worth.
Which is when you actually enjoy.
Yeah, I'd say you get used to it, you enjoy it. You get back to the Squadron out and after a trip, you go back to your normal race train sustainment cycle, building up for another deployment, and then you go away.
Now, he's got his wheels down, but obviously not going to land. Tell me, what's that called? What sort of pass?
So this is a dirt pass.
And what does that mean?
The flaps are out, the gear's down. We configured the aircraft for a simulated landing, and the aircraft's making a lot of drag, so it's often referred to as a dirt pass, as opposed to a clean pass, where the gear's up, and the aircraft is in
So it's now clean.
That's right.
So it can go a lot faster when it's clean, right?
Yes, correct. Let's get this done.
And just a question, it's about your journey into doing what you do. Were you a straight A top of the college student, or what happened?
Not at all. No, I think follow the Air Force, mainly so we've done our best, we've got everyone to get.
I don't believe I don't have to interrupt the CEO of AMDA Foundation Limited, but just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, from the left we have the glorious Spartan.
C-27 going. We noticed today one of the illustrations we played that they don't think they may do the responsibility the first responders. That's key to survival, isn't it?
It was incredible in response. So we set up an ECC, what was also already set up the whole show. We had the best people, probably in Australia really, the police, the ambulance, all there.
The fire truck was able to get out there within a minute. They were delayed by going out to the actual aircraft by another minute because it was in the pyrotechnic area, so we had to make that safe. They were able to get out there and work on board, and really, hopefully he makes a quicker recovery because of that.
Are you able to express me down notice? You able to update us on his condition?
I understand it's serious but stable. I've heard mixed reports that he's conscious and talking, but I know that he is very lucky. And, just
Sales and maintenance at very low altitude where it's designed to operate as a tactical battlefield airlifter. And the flying display for today and for tomorrow, we're going to see similar flying displays, do you think, Justin?
Yes, well, today we've had the shortness, but we've compressed it a bit because of the delay in starting. Then we'll go through at 6 o'clock tonight, which is great, so we're extending the time.
You can come tomorrow. How do people get a ticket?
So it's through Ticket Tech. So no matter how you got there through Ticket Tech, so if you have Gold Pass, you still only receive a general admission pass because those seats are full already, so we can't do that. But they should have already received it directly from Ticket Tech, and they're just a PDF you print out. All right.
Justin Giddings, CEO of AMDA, thank you so much for coming down and giving us a little bit of your time today and for updating us and to talk all things Avalon Airshow.
Thank you very much.
Justin Giddings, the CEO of AMDA, the foundation that presents the Avalon Airshow, the Australian International Airshow. As you see 27 coming in from the right, I said what the guys there said, and pull up the rest of the flight.
Doing its party trick. The C-27J plays a vital role in regional peacetime operations, providing critical support to humanitarian and disaster relief efforts, search and rescue missions, aeromedical evacuations, essential airlift tasks, including troop movements, cargo transport, airdrop operations, you name it, this thing does it. And I think we have, oh yes we do, we are back in the cockpit here, Greg Hinks, and we have Justin Stevens. Welcome guys.
Thank you very much. I'm Greg Hinks, the outfit large fat wing providing lots of lift, solid undercarriage as it goes by, and a really short distance between the nose and tail so I can manoeuvre on small tight strips as it flies by. Now the other thing is that this aircraft actually replaced the old Caribou that we used to have in 38 and 35 footage. And this, whilst it may not have the same short takeoff and landing, it really does have some increased capabilities for airport. Absolutely. Nothing can really totally replace a Caribou, but this one's pretty close. No. It's got the ability to take off in those tight strips up around Papua New Guinea that the Caribou was renowned for, and be able to support the land force very effectively. Now the manoeuvrability on the C-27 goes far, and run us through that. Oh look, being so small and light, it is really agile. So we can get under clouds, manoeuvre around mountains, and also avoid any threats if they happen to be in the area. So we can really throw the aircraft around and have great combat at the same time.
So what we're going to see very shortly is Caribous that were delivered to the squadron back in the Vietnam days, and they served very well for many, many years.
Now call sign Wallaby, known as Wallaby Airlines.
Oh look, in the Vietnam era, the aircraft and the crews did some amazing work, and were quite instrumental.
So who's the crew on the aircraft today?
Oh, we've got Gareth Gordon and Andrew Bennet. Alan Bennet, they're the main crew. We've got a safety pilot, Heidi. We've got two loadmasters in the back, keeping it all nice and safe.
Just a quick announcement, the Raptors will soon be taxiing to backtrack, so you'll get to see them up close and personal before their exhilarating display, which will be commentated by the Pacific Air Forces. So what are you seeing there?
Very agile, so you see them turn on and then turn back towards the crowd. You'll be able to see the plant for all of the aircraft. A very compact and very capable airlifter.
Now this is an Italian-made aircraft.
It is, and we love it. We love our espressos and we love this aircraft. Although on the other side of the world, it is well suited for working in our Australasian region.
Great manoeuvrability there. You can get just the angles of bank and then pulling around to the right.
Clear or
flares coming out the back of this C-27J, which always makes for a fantastic photo. So if you're a photographer, be warned.
It's a beautiful aircraft. Here you get to see a stunning display as it dispenses all its flares in one go over here.
Here we go.
Oh my god. Yes, I see it. Yes!
And the magic.
I'm going to just run with lots.
Didn't you count them?
It is.
Australian International Airshow. Be sure to download the Avalon app, which is the daily program and site map, so you can plan your day. Search Avalon.